Good morning, everyone. Could you guys hear me okay? We're good? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, good morning and welcome everyone to our 2024 with School Health New Jersey Year-End Summit. My name is Gaspar Classer. I am the part of the New Jersey Department of Health Child and Adolescent Health Programs. Today, we're going to celebrate the journey of learning and growth we've embarked on together for this school year. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on the profound impact of the whole school, whole community, and whole child, as well as social and emotional learning activities, highlighting the importance of nurturing not only academic prowess, but also emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Join us as we reflect in our collective achievements and honor the invaluable achievements of lessons learned beyond the textbooks. To start off today, we have a special presentation. Please welcome keynote speakers Anthony and Durrell from Our Friendly Advice. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. My name is Durrell Marsh. I'm one of the co-founders of Our Friendly Advice. We work in tandem with schools, and what we do is we come in and we built out a curriculum. So we have a 5-step module curriculum. The first step in that module is self-realization. So we work with the kids on a one-to-one basis inside of a group dynamic. And what we cover is the self-realization, coming to oneself and understanding why it's important to know oneself and what journey in that do we want to take and how are we going to get there. The second one is accountability. How do we hold ourselves accountable in life, and what faults do we go through in our journey, and what do we need to do to proceed going forward? The third step is setting our standards. So once we understand the first 2 modules, how do we then create a standard and module for ourselves and rubric for ourselves to go out and govern our lives? The fourth one is communication. From a family standpoint, from a community standpoint, from a school standpoint, how do we register our communication, body language, visual learning, auditory learning? How do we figure that out and what makes sense for us? And the 5th component that we use is self-reflection. So going through life and understanding what is it that made us the way that we are, and how do we deal with components of life when we face adversity? So what we like to do is empower educators and students in organizations and govern these modules. How we came together was me and Anthony worked on separate components in our job fields, and what we realized was the educational, emotional intelligence components of life aren't really being touched on with the students. We're not really looking at what adversity they face when it comes to just going to school. We just create these expectations for students, and we believe that it's governed and they just hold this and they should know this standard, when they may have never had these conversations one day in their life ever, from parents or teachers, but there's a certain way in which we go about students like they should know. What I like to say is this: when you're 18 years old and you commit a crime, no one asks, do you know any better, right? It's the same way we go out into life with our students. It's like, well, we can't assume that they had the teaching. We don't know if they came from a 2-parent household. We don't know if their parents were actually even giving them the guidance. So that's where we come in with our curriculum, and we go over these things and tell students how to hold themselves accountable, as well as educators. From there, we go on and track their progress. So for instance, we inside of our curriculum, depending on the school, depending on how they broke it down, we can be there for 3, 6, 9, or 12 weeks. And then we go forward. We also track their progress within that time period to say that they've elevated in their school and school grades. And what usually we see is when you believe and build with a child and they have a belief system, it usually has an adverse reaction to how they act in life. So their relationship at home with their parents or their guardians seems to get better. Their influence on the field seems to get better if they participate in school extracurricular activities. They may even get an interest in extracurricular activities because they never knew they were seen before. So that's where we come into play. A little bit about myself. I went to Stockton University. I got into the lucrative career of social work. As anyone knows. So we have that. And what I learned is that we may not be rich in pocket, but we're rich in spirit people. So we want to embolden. We want to embolden our community. And it doesn't stop with us. It doesn't stop with the people that we work with. It goes to the family members that we touch on a daily basis, the people that we have communication with. Just running in with like-minded individuals today, I'm pretty sure we'll pass messages along, learn a little from each other, and then go forward. And that's what we're all about. And one of the encouraging messages I try and give on to people is, you may not know what your meaning or value is when you even speak to somebody just going out. So take that time to just, even if you see somebody struggling, just your words of encouragement may change everything about that day. It may not happen in that moment, but they may think about you going forward. So with that being said, I would like to give a special shout out to Christian and Jaspar for inviting us and giving us this opportunity today. I'll be on the side if anyone wants to speak to me, and we'll also be doing a Q&A. Awesome. So at this moment, the man of the hour, my co-founder and my brother, introducing Anthony T. Johnson.
Okay, so we talking about health equity today. That's very interesting to me. I love the fact that you guys kind of voted on this and picked this. So I want to talk about this handsome young man right here. He was born 1 pound, 12 ounces, June 21st in 1991. Okay, so we can imagine in 1991 that the technology wasn't up to par. We can imagine that the medication wasn't where it needed to be. The issue here is that this man was born 1 pound, 12 ounces and only was given a 20% chance of living. Okay, 20% chance. At the same time that this was happening, during these birth effects, also, his father was being sentenced to 40 years in prison. He was born at 9/13. His father was sentenced to 40 years to life by the time it was 11/13. So you can imagine the type of emotional effects that was happening with the mother. The issue here, right? This is where health equity comes into play. Unfortunately, the mom didn't have adequate insurance in order to pay for the 3 major surgeries that was needed. This kid needed surgery to his heart, his intestines, and to his lungs. Right? So she was faced with this decision. Okay, do I continue to go forth with having this kid, or do I handle the cost of my life? We know that medical bill is no joke, right? They bill you for everything, right? So imagine what was happening in 1991. This decision that she had to make was very, very hard and difficult. And here's why. Because during that time, when her family started to come up there, she pulled her mother to the side. She said, "Mom, what should I do?" Here's what the mom said. She whispered to her and said, "Unfortunately, you can't miss what you never had. Let the baby go to heaven."
Oh my gosh.
The doctor was giving her just pressuring her. What you gonna do? Okay, the baby's here. What we gonna do? 20% chance of living. We got to go into emergency surgery. You don't got the money to take care of it. What are you gonna do? Fortunately for her, that was this nurse, the head nurse. They was able to have a conversation with the doctor, pulled the doctor to the side and said, "Hey, I noticed that you didn't say to this woman that we have allocated funds. We just had a meeting about a month ago, and you said that there's allocated funds for the budget for emergency surgery. Why didn't you let this lady know that the money is money for her to have the surgery?" And here's what he said. He said, "Unfortunately, she doesn't qualify. She doesn't qualify because, one, look at the environment that she's gonna bring the kid in anyway. Camden, New Jersey, probably won't survive anyway. On top of that, think about the specialist that this kid need to have after the fact. So if she can't afford the surgery, she probably can't afford the follow-up either." And that is a reality that all of us have to deal with at some point. The nurse decided, she said, "You know what? We're gonna do something about this. Let me actually call up the insurance myself and see what's actually happening." The insurance company told her this: the customer is no longer the patient. The customer is now us. Why? Because typically the customer is always right. So if the insurance company is saying that this surgery ain't gonna take place or you don't got the money to do it, then this surgery probably not gonna happen. The nurse decided, she said, "I'm gonna use my influence, I'm gonna use my resources." She pulled the other nurses to the side and she said, "Hey, We're gonna take care of this ourselves. And here's what happened, y'all. Not only did the nurses come together and pay for the bill, but they also made sure that they was on top of the follow-up services. Because with insurance, and we all know this at some point, man, you get a job, you pick the lowest insurance, right? Because they don't want to take, you don't want to take a lot out of your check. And because this lady's longtime boyfriend, since she was 11 years old, was being sentenced to 40 years for kingpin charges and homicide charges, she lost her security. She lost her sense of protection. After the nurse was done talking to the insurance company, she realized that healthcare has a lot of politics. It's a lot of moving pieces here. What can I do in order to help this situation? What can I do as far as health equity to make sure that I'm invested in this person? The difference between equity and equality is two different things. Equality says that I'm gonna make sure that things are available. Equity says I'm gonna make sure not only is it available, but it's accessible. I'm gonna make sure that I meet the needs of each person that I need to talk to, because asking them just simple questions, how do you feel today? Is this not enough? What if I come across as insensitive? As a doctor, I say to you, hey, you got high blood pressure. You need to get on the DASH diet. But here's what I'm not taking into consideration. The closest Whole Foods and Trader Joe's is probably about, if I'm in Camden, that's in Cherry Hill, so that's like 2 towns over. What if I don't got a car? What if the doctor decide that the only appointment that's necessary for me is a telehealth appointment? But what if I got to choose between my rent and I got to pay my Wi-Fi bill? You see the things that we don't think about? This all goes into health equity. So here's what happened with this kid. The mother had to make a decision. She decided that she was going to let the nurses pay for this. She also decided this. If it wasn't for this kid being born June 21st, she had a suicide note that was under her mattress. She was going to take herself out if this kid was not born. The interesting part about this kid being born 9/13 is 9. It's like a reset. Like, if you look up the number, like it's the definition is like a reset, or like trade life for death. So literally that's what was happening. We was trading the life of his father for death, right? Now here we are. You look up now, the mother of this child is now a nurse, and she teaches health equity. Why? Because it saved her life. This child is standing in front of you. This 1 pound, 12 ounce kid, he was 12 inches. That's me. It literally saved my life. Like, it saved my life, y'all. Next. Oh, y'all got it. Next slide. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the inspiration and all that stuff in a second, right? But before I get into that, I want to talk about something that Martin Luther King talked about in 1966. He said all forms of inequality. He said out of all forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. Here's why. Because I'm gonna give y'all a great example. Let's talk. We have to, when it comes to health equity, we got to deal with the totality of a person. But let me speak about mental health for a second. Here's the part about mental health that many people don't connect with. If you look up the word psyche, it means not just the mind, but it means the human soul. It means the spirit of a person. So what I'm saying is, when you talk about mental health and the emotional part of a person and everything that operates in totality, what I'm saying about the soul is we gotta care about the life of the person. I think we got to the point in healthcare where we don't actually care about the life of a person. The soul doesn't see color, it sees character. If I'm talking to you and I see the character of a person, then I have to make sure that you're able to live. But now what happens if the doctor says, I deliver about 10 babies a day. If one don't make it, that's still a high probability. What if I tell you behind the curtain, these are the type of conversation that's being had, right? What if I tell you about, as far as like prenatal, what if I tell you like, hey, if a mom can't afford all the follow-up appointments, what if she skipped about the next 2 or 3? And she tried to take care of it with home remedies? Not adequate. There was once upon a time, right, where patient-centered care was a thing. It was necessary. What I mean by that is this. The doctor will come to your home and you'll be able to negotiate the price after the doctor was done. Now, You got to find yourself dodging the hospital because you about to get a $3,000 bill the moment that you get into the ambulance. Now we gotta think about money when it comes to our healthcare. All right, next slide. Okay, let's talk about equality versus equity, right? Equality is this, to make sure that everybody has the same size bike, but that doesn't equal to fairness, does it? You got a child that can't ride the bike, right? You have a right gender as far as right, everybody's the same, but then you look at this tall guy, that look like me up there, right? Like we got to make sure that these bikes is fit, and then a handicapped person. What about the person that's disabled? Making sure that they're able to get quality healthcare as well. That comes with a different level of investment, a different level of conversation, right? We know that sometimes these follow-up appointments you got to wait a year just to get on the waiting list. Now, what happens to the single mother that still got to take care of the kid that got autism? What happens then when you still got to take care of the kid? One thing I want to say about this is there's a difference between being present and being invested, right? Let's think about it in the confines of relationships. The last thing people do in relationships is physically leave. The first thing they do is mostly check out, right? That's what happens when you're being present and invested. As far as education, right? We all got that kid that walk into the room and you be like, he got perfect attendance or she got perfect attendance, but I know my day about to be hell. Like, I know this about to be a long day. There's a difference between being present and being invested. Now, when it comes to the life of a person, imagine if that nurse was not invested that day. Imagine if she decided that conversation that she overheard where she wasn't sure what's going to happen with the bill, imagine she didn't pick up and say anything. I believe everybody in here is leaders. Why? Because you made it here. I believe everybody that's watching is leaders. Why? Because you're here. Everybody's here for a purpose. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean that your environment is going to always be conducive, but that doesn't take away the fact that you're a leader. No matter where you step in, no matter, life is not about what you do, it's who you are. Everybody here could get fired tomorrow. Does that stop you from being who you are? You're still going to be a leader. You're still going to be a servant. That means that I can never pour from an empty cup and I can't serve from an empty vessel. Everybody here is purpose. I think about it like this, the elevator effect. In your purpose, people get discouraged. Just like the elevator that we took here today, everybody get on the first floor. But what if your calling is to the highest floor, which is the 9th floor? Every time a door open up, you get discouraged. When it's going to be my turn? When I'm going to get the promotion? When I'm going to graduate? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? But as you're getting called up, we think that we're getting lonely, but that doesn't mean isolation, it means separation. In your respective fields, you are separated from everybody else. You are the leader. You are the one that's going to make sure there's a difference between equality and equity. My equity means I have an investment in what I got going on. Yeah, I'm the director, but I'm going to make sure that everybody under me understands the mission. I'm going to make sure everybody understands the vision. All right. It's one of my best friends, and he's homeless, man. His name is Creation. That's his name with a K. Make sure y'all say it like that, because you meet him, people like Creation with a K, right? All right, so look, he always says the same thing. From the time I was 6 years old, I remember he lived right outside. Well, my great grandma's house, and then he got like a little tent right there on the side, right? And he would always, like, since I was 6, he would rub my head and say, "You get fired from your job and never from your purpose." I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what are you talking about, right? Now I'm 14 years old, and I remember I was pretty popular, played basketball. So I'm walking a group of my friends, and he would always point me out. And he'd be like, "You get fired from your job, but never from your purpose." I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, right? So it was this one time where I had came across him later on in my 20s. And every time I seen him, he was served. I would see him, he's homeless, but he'll give you a coin, like this golden coin or $1. And I never really, so one day at this event right here, I pulled him to the side and I said, "Why is it every time I see you, you homeless, but you always serve, right? What's your issue?" A lady pulled me to the side in this event and said, "Hey, you never heard his story before?" I said, "No." "Who is this guy?" She was like, "He's one of the first millionaires that worked on Wall Street." I said, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, he had a gambling issue and lost everything." I said, "What?" So during this conversation right here, come to find out, he actually knew my father. My father is the one that was trying to clean him up from the addiction. How my father trying to clean him up from the addiction that he had going on, but he would always tell me the same thing. You can get fired from your job, but never from your purpose. And one day, next slide, please. One day, I got into a bad car accident. I was 21 years old, and I was driving down Admiral Wilson Boulevard, and it was like a gloomy day. And I had literally just graduated college, and then I had got a promotion to a director position in a mental health facility. So if anybody know how a mental health facility works, if one person call out, the other person is stuck for the next shift, right? So it was one particular Saturday, I got a call named Mr. Jamal, and his son had a birthday at 3 o'clock. It was 9, and I was trying to find coverage for him, but I couldn't. So now it was around 2:30. I'm starting to get dressed, and I'm heading there, but I wasn't going to make it on time. So I'm speeding, y'all. Bad decision. What I didn't know is my 2 tires in the back was bald, right? So when I was going up the ramp, I remember it clear as day. It was a yellow sign with the tilting truck symbol that said slow down, 20 miles per hour. I decided to speed up. I sped up. I went to go turn, and my car never stopped turning. I hit the guardrail. Now look, I'm on the opposite side of traffic. I flipped to the opposite side of traffic. That's why I had to end up crawling. This door smashed. I had to crawl through the back. Right? Here's what I realized that day. There was this Irish couple. First of all, I was on the side of the road and nobody helped me. Right? I remember bleeding from my head, glass everywhere, right? And it was this Irish couple that finally stopped and they helped me. And the officer came over. And the first thing he asked me for, said, "Do you have your license and registration?" He didn't ask me was I okay. He said, "Do you have your license and registration?" I'm delirious. I'm damn near about to pass out over there. And the lady started cursing him out. Started cursing out the officer. Next thing you know, I pass out. I wake up in the hospital. My mom is to the right-hand side of me. And the Irish couple was to the left-hand side of me. The first thing I thought about, I said, Mr. Jamal gonna be mad at me. I didn't think about my life. I said, Mr. Jamal, because one thing about us, each and every person in this room, we operate off a spirit of excellence. Everybody in here, I could tell by looking in your eyes, you operate off of teamwork. But one thing we know is, you were saying that we're not about to sit here and worry about me, it's we. So I believe that everybody in this room have a collective solution to whatever you want to do. That's the same mentality that I had. So the first thing I'm thinking when I woke up from this car crash, Jamal's gonna be mad. My mom tapped me and said, "Hey, you need to lay down and recover because it's something I gotta tell you." 2 days passed, she let me lay down, IVs, stuff all. She finally showed me the phone, the voicemail. They fired me from my job. I want to say this to y'all. You get fired from your job, but never from your purpose. In that moment, I realized something. I realized that when it comes to health equity, when it comes to emotional and social, emotional intelligence, when it comes to all these things that we are fighting for, understand that the fight doesn't stop just because payment isn't there. Value doesn't come with a dollar. It comes with who you are. You step into a room, you are a servant and a leader, regardless of what room that you step into. You could get fired tomorrow. Your job will be on Indeed by next week. Somebody gonna fill the position. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna pull you into the office and say, "Sorry, budget cuts." Right? They start doing all that. But one thing I want y'all to know is that no matter where you go, no matter who you talk to, you are valuable. Never allow the culture of what you got of your workplace to burn you out, to diminish you. We are not products in our environment. We cultivate our environment. Being a product in your environment, you start allowing people to dictate what you got going on. No, you go in there and dictate. A leader doesn't mean position. A leader is a leader regardless of a position that you hold. Everybody in here is a leader, meaning that I have value to bring to this position. I have intelligence to bring to, I have experience. I have a skill set that I have accumulated over the years. I am equipped. I have the capacity to be here. This car crash did not stop me. And I'm here to let you know that sometimes, even when it comes to our own mental health, sometimes this car crash translates to our mind. It may not be you in the trauma unit, but you may have trauma in your brain. It may not be the fact that you wake up with scars and wounds all over the place, but they're scars that you have developed over your life. When you come into your workplace, or whatever you have going on as far as your environment, your purpose, what you was called to, understand that your scars should never be projected on anybody else. Understand that your wounds should never be projected on anybody else. We are here to operate as a community. I said it earlier. Community is when we got things in common and we operate in unity. If we don't have anything in common, we not operating in unity, then we just rubbing shoulders and not really coming together. You know how many departments don't talk across each other? Cubicle right here, cubicle right here. Nobody talking across each other. Nobody, even with what I was talking about earlier with the appointments, if I was to set up transportation, why is it that the recruiters is not making sure they're hiring somebody that's equipped to handle the access link? If the access link bus is 30 minutes late and my appointment is an hour out and I miss it, I probably won't get another appointment for about a year, 6 months. That is not fair to the patient. That is not fair to the person that need the services. Next slide, please. Here's what I want to say. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. The first thing we do when we think about a problem, we don't think about the why, we think about the how. How we gonna fix this? What we gonna do? Where is it gonna happen? No, it's the why. Here's why. I say this all the time. I want this to resonate with y'all. Everybody here has to continue to stay plugged into their why, because you are the extension cord to your why. Here's how it works. If I was to snatch this out the power outlet, everything goes out. And it's some of us that's walking around powerless, blacked out. Some of us is walking around literally going through the motions. Why? Because we fell away from our why. And life either gonna do two things. And this is a question that everybody gotta ask themselves. Am I strong or am I numb? Because you'll find in many spaces where you think that you are strong, you actually became numb to life. Your why is what you always gotta stay plugged into, because the how becomes easier because now we can work together. You want to know how to get this done? It's not one solution to all things. Everybody here brings their own solution. We bring together our resources. We bring together our money, our funds, the things that were necessary to make it easy for ourselves. The why is powerful. What's your why? Maybe you need to go back and redeem it. Maybe you lost your why maybe some years ago. Maybe you started out on a good foot. Now you're just going through the motions with your job. No, tap back into your why, because it makes your job, it makes your purpose, it makes your calling more enjoyable at that point. Health equity is only equity because once we invest it in the why behind a person, the soul in the person, who you are. So I'm not coming to you just asking you, hey, you got a headache. No, what's your food? What do your food look like? Like if you go to a corner store and you're able to get things that's not nutritionist, right? Or don't have the things in it in order to make sure that you have a healthy lifestyle, I have to care about that. Because I sound insensitive if I say to you, hey, just, eat better. But wait a minute. We're not gonna act like milk ain't $8. Wait, what? We're not gonna act like you go get Solid Works, you spend about $30 in there, right? Like, what if I don't have it? If I don't have it, now I gotta come up with alternative solutions. And people that come up with alternative solutions are the people that care. If insurance is not covering something, then guess what? We cover it as a community, right? If somebody is going through it, one thing about society that makes me cringe is when somebody asks you how you doing, but they really don't want to tell you. Like, so how you doing? Then you go, well, how you doing? They trying to get off what they want to get off. No, how are you really doing? I really want to hear how you doing. And don't tell me that you're okay, because everybody's not okay all day, and it's okay not to be okay. I need us to go back to being humans. I need us to go back to caring, going back to the basics and caring about the necessary conversations to a person. That's how you build rapport. You want to know how to lock in with a community to make sure that the problems is getting resolved? Bring the community inside. Who the ones at the ground level that's handling the thing? Because sometimes, if I got resources and more funding than somebody, the worst thing I could do is hijack somebody's plight. Y'all hear me? Like, it's one thing that I build allies with somebody, but it's one thing to hijack their plight and come in and try to take over. No, we partner. Get side by side. What we need to do in order to fix this? I don't know the people. You know the people, but I got money to fund it. Maybe that's it. Maybe when we in these meetings, it's not, oh, what can we do to reinvent the wheel? What if the wheel was already what if the wheel was already here? You just not listening to the people that got the answer. Health equity. Equity is the investment in the people. Equality is one thing. And me being a policy evaluator, there are proposals, right, that's happening to bridge that gap. Equity is now becoming a hot topic. But I'm here to let you know this. When we talk about equity, it's not about just a conversation. The conversation is the reflection. You know where many people miss? Call to action. Now that the conversation is here, what you gonna do about it? Now that we had these necessary conversations, you know the problems, okay, what's the solution? And maybe you don't have the solution right now, and that's okay. But if everybody coming together, bringing their own experiences to the table, at some point the solution will be here. Partner with other organizations instead of being rivals with other organizations. If we do the same thing, that means if I come together, we do more of the same thing. You take this county, I take this county, we take this county, but we all doing the same thing, then we work together. We gotta get back to the why. All right. Our friendly advice. This is us. We are now going to get into the Q&A. Thank y'all. Y'all can ask us whatever y'all want.
Any questions?
Any questions in the chat?
They can mute themselves.
Yep, y'all can ask us whatever y'all want. We're gonna have this conversation.
Well, I don't have a question just yet, but I don't think the presentation is, they can't hear me, but I'll talk louder. It's super powerful, just, you know, your own story. I'm sure you have your own story. And then when you tell your story, we can find something relatable in what you say, even if we didn't live it that way, maybe through our work experience or the stories that we've heard. So I just think it's awesome that you guys have this thing going on, and whoever coordinated this, great job, because it was powerful for me.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? So obviously you're here presenting to all of us on your why, so if you can let, because there's some schools on the call, what you guys do within schools, like you come into schools, what do you, give us your little pitch, what our friendly.
So our friendly advice will come into your school. We'll sit down with the administration and from our curriculum, depending on, like I said, the 5 base module, we'll sit down, you'll go over what you think is important, and then we'll streamline it. So let's say you think that your kids really want to, you've seen there's a lack of accountability. So that's one of the main pinnacle points you want to focus on. Maybe it's community, a lack of accountability within the community, home life. They're not doing their homework. They're not making it on time to any school events, whatever that is. We sit down, we formulate, we say, okay, we think that with your school base, 3 weeks will be fine. We'll go in. Maybe it needs to be extended, but for the projected number, that's what we'll go with. Then we sit down. Anthony and I will introduce ourselves to the kids. And then what we'll do is we'll run our curriculum with them inside of a classroom. We usually are dealing with anywhere between 15 to 30 students. We try to make it as personal as possible just from a number standard, because we know that the point of this is to be seen. We have 100 kids, we can't focus our single attention to them. So what goes on in there is we sit down with them on and go over the curriculum, and then they inside of our curriculum we have moments where it's presentation, and we have moments where it's individual based working on a worksheet. From there, we connect with the teachers. We have a profiler, so it's a tracking system. They have the kids, when they first sign up for this program, they are signing off on agreeing to being held accountable. So that's bringing that tracker with you home and within every teacher stop that you go to. Teacher signs off on their progress, their grades. Mom, dad, or guardian goes off and says what they're doing on a nightly basis. We bring that in and have an individual session with them, as well as going over the curriculum again. Then from there, we tie it into their outside life, right? We bring it into, well, you know, one of the important things that I learned when I was younger, which was never told to me, but as I see it growing on, professors and friends alike bring it up. The people that you hang around are who you are. Whether you acknowledge it or not, when I was growing up, I had a lot of friends in gangs. I had a lot of friends that sold drugs, and from an early age, I seen what was going on with them. I said, I'm not built like that. it's not for me. If I get caught with the cops, I don't want to necessarily get a charge or go to jail for something I didn't participate in.
Mhm.
But if I hang out with them to be cool, that's my punishment. That's my consequence. So we try and get kids to understand that you can love this person. You can have love for everybody. And just because you've grown apart in your ideals doesn't mean that you're not a true friend.
Yeah.
Right. So these are some of the conversations that we have. You have to, maybe it's your parents. Maybe your parent doesn't understand from an individual standpoint that they're not progressing in life. And when they see you succeed, they're upset about it. Some parents do have that flip where it's like, well, when I was 17, I had you and I wasn't able to go on this trip. I wasn't able to make the money you're making. And they reverse engineer that in their head to put their self-worth down, diminish themselves, and then destroy the kid. Right. So we need to say sometimes it's like, well, you have to be home. You are 16, but let's minimize you being home. Right. Let's get you a job. Let's get you into extracurricular activities, expand your mind. So those are the things that we sit down and do. And then outside of that, we also are working, we're in the process of working on like boot camps.
Mhm.
So we want to set in the summertime, we want to work with kids individually. Now that could be a bigger, a group setting, probably from 50 to 100, maybe 150, where organizations, schools can sign these kids up, and then we'll run different things with them, have fun, like trust falls and things like that, but on a grander scale, and then build that community and that sense of understanding of why we do these things.
I want to be clear about something too. We don't only come here to inspire, we come here to do transformative work. The difference. So if I'm here to inspire, I'm here to, come here and have you in touch with your emotions. We're here to do transformative work, especially with the kids. So that last piece that he said,
Mhm.
I believe that one, you change the mindset of a kid. Like I said before, we're not here to, it's not product in your environment. We're here to cultivate your environment, but then sometimes we have to also change the setting. That's what the boot camps come into play. Sometimes we got to take the kids out of where they're from. That's like us, when we get older, we start traveling. Right? It's a culture shock, right?
Mhm.
That's the same type of ideal that needs to happen when we put them into these boot camps, because we're doing the transformative work. So not only do they see the results in school, but they also see the results out of school with their athletics as well. I say all the time, we're not here just to journey with them. We're here to do life with them. So we are the ones that's going to show up to their primes. We are the ones that's going to show up to their games. We are the ones that's going to fill the gaps and become the extra brother, family member that they need. This is not just data or grand. It's not about the money. We actually here, for purpose and make sure that these kids get what they need. Because we know it's hard out here. And as technology continues to advance, technology is becoming the parent to many of these kids.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to make sure that we fill the gap.
So we have questions in the chat. So this question is submitted by Rory. My question is about mental health. We have a great team and we have students who are really struggling emotionally, and this is manifesting through behavior and grades. Do you have an advice on how to connect with those kiddos who don't want to connect and refuse to meet with therapists or guidance?
I'll pick that one. I would say you have to detract that child from the situation, right? So sometimes being in a learning setting, there's a multiple components going on at that juncture where they're not learning. For instance, if I'm bad at my grades and I'm coming into an environment where I'm sitting down in a classroom and you're trying to get me to learn, I already feel less than. Then that's problem number one. Problem number two is school is a comparative system, right? There's a lot of things that we compare fairly or unjustly. That, hey, Precious has got an A, she's a great student, and we reward that mentality, right? Like Precious, why can't we be like Precious? Precious got an A today. What did you do, right? There's a lot of that going on. So now I'm a D student. I already know I'm not Precious. You've already set the bar that I'm not at that level. So I don't want to be in this environment. I already feel less than. So one of the things I would say is break the culture. Sometimes we are so even in our curriculum, we come in there with a base of what we want to accomplish, but that's not the ruler of our day. Sometimes we may want, that's why we say we may extend the program. We may come in there day 2 working with the kids and we're like, yo, they're not paying attention right now. They're not focused. So we have to break and realign what's going on, because the instruments of instruction aren't for you to get across the message. It's for you to be at the bridge to meet them where they're at. So even in 4 weeks, we may not get to what we have wanted to accomplish, but we may have instilled one variable inside their head that gets to trigger that. So that's where I would say going forward with them is break the culture. So maybe instead of doing the curriculum or the lesson plan or the framework, go outside, go on the playground, do something, go to the gym, play dodgeball, be immersive with them, figure out what they want to do, and then maybe tie a lesson plan to what they want, that they love. So maybe they love football, tie a lesson plan to it, trajectory, geometry, whatever you want in a math lesson to the importance of why math is important on the football field. So I would say try and find one of the things is find their interests, connect with their interests, maybe even having to take time after school, right? Don't be a clock in, clock out person.
Yeah.
It's 7:30, you get in there, it's 3:30 when you leave. That kid is stuck in after school program till 5:30. Say, oh, I didn't know that. Go into that program, say, hey, Mr. Johnson, I want to pull them aside and try and do some one-on-one work with them. Help them with their homework. Get them to understand, you are great at reading. It's this component that you're lacking on. Let me bridge that gap for you. And then highlight what they're great at in the classroom to make them feel special that day. So if they're great at reading, hey, Clarice, why don't you read for us? Instead of you being the reader or asking somebody else to do it. So that's my piece on that.
That's the solution. Can I highlight the problem for a second? Here's the issue. The issue is somewhere like around like 11 and a half, the kid got out of the I'm cute phase to many of the adults. So you start to talk to them a certain way, a little bit more assertive a certain way, right? And what we don't realize is as they continue to get older, so now they're about 16, and we start saying stuff like this. Either old enough to make your own decisions or stay in a child's place. And now they got identity crisis wherever they at, because some adults is telling them you old enough to make your own decisions. Some adults is telling them stay in a child's place. Y'all understand the mental, like the mental crisis that plays on the child? Because now when I'm over here with my grandma, I gotta stay in a child's place. When I'm with my parents or the teachers, now I gotta make my own decisions. Wait a minute, which one am I? Is you allowing me to make my own decisions or not? So now the kid feel isolated. They in this gray area now.
We see that a lot too in a lot of students that they go home and they are the parent, right? Or to their siblings, or so now when they're home, they're the ones that make the rules. They're the ones that are doing the housework. They're the ones that are cooking. And then when they go to school, they're told sit, when you have to sit and be quiet and you don't make the rules. I do too. So like I see the reverse of that too. So it's just conflicting everywhere on both sides.
It's an African proverb that says a child will burn down their own village just to fill its world. I see that in a lot of the kids. So when they burning down their village, it's not because they bad kids. It's because they want the validation, attention, and acceptance that they deserve. But if you only getting that, right? We got educators, we got different people that do different things in this room. At some point, you got to clock out. What happens when they got to go back into reality after you done loved on them all day? And they got to go back to an environment that actually hates them. Now what? That's where we come into play. We come into play to make sure that 24-hour span is getting taken care of. I got 4 phones. I think he got like 3. We don't mind answering them, right? So even if it's a FaceTime, we deal with all different range of kids, college students. We got kids that came into our facilities with a gun. Hey, I'm not judging you. Look, just put that off to the side. And why? Because I know when you step back into reality, you probably got to protect yourself. We got other kids that autism, right? They come in. We know how to handle these certain level of kids. So there's not an issue or a problem. Here's the issue. We should not disqualify anybody from life or anybody from solutions. Sometimes it's like that kid a little bit more difficult. Well, give us the misfit. Because now what happens when that person now is you in their funeral now, you're like, I didn't do all I could. Well, you should have. Right? So I think that's the issue. So when it comes to answering the question about the mental health, like I said in the presentation, mental health, the psyche means the soul of a person. You got to be able to get to the soul of a person and they respond, right? We might take that kid that's the bad kid, pull them to the side. Next thing you know, a week later, they in there with manners. Sir, man, right? Thank you. Why? Because we able to connect with them on a different space.
And just to add to the misfit part, just when you're dealing with some quote unquote bad kids, those are actually the best kids. And I'm gonna say, in my opinion, because a lot of kids that we deem good have a silent voice. They have a lot of things going on. There's ill people in the world could be doing ill things to them, but they're the good kids, so they don't say anything. They've been taught to silence their voice. A lot of people don't say anything when they're abused verbally or mentally or emotionally or physically. And the bad kids, what I know about with the bad kids is they're boisterous, right? They'll come out, they'll say no, they'll tell you about yourself. They'll do things that they believe in their mind are adequate. Now, what you have to do is say there's a time, you have to teach that time and place, right? That's the component they're missing. I want to be me, I want to be myself. Nothing wrong with that. But there's a time and place for that. I can't walk into work with my boxers on. Like, there's a time and place for that, right? Like, I can do that at home. I can chill and relax how I want to relax in my home setting. So that's one of the things that I think we have to get them to understand. Nothing wrong with, like, this realism. Like, there's nothing wrong with, I gotta be real. I gotta be who I am. But you can be who you are, but understanding the components of life will have adverse things to that. So you can't just be who you want whenever you want, unless you're, you know, a millionaire, a billionaire, then you can do it. But even they have to adhere to certain rules set by society. So that's where I would say on that misfit part.
Okay, so the next question is by Josie. What is this program called and what is the cost? Our district has a high rate of chronic absenteeism as well as many altercations of students at the high school.
Yeah, so this is Our Friendly Advice. That's the name of our company. And the prices range, right? So we were to have that conversation one-on-one. The email us, we had that conversation.
Do you want me to provide your email?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
So we're getting a couple of questions
Yeah.
about the cost of the program. So what we could do to everyone who's in the Zoom, we can forward that information to you.
That's perfect, yeah.
And then we'll be able to, to have that conversation. But again, we willing to help however we could provide those solutions.
And then the last question, this program for middle school as well?
Yes.
Yes.
So our bread and butter, Golden Childs are middle schoolers, sixth graders around that area. We do love working with high schoolers, but the most profound responses are going to come from that age bracket, just because that is I think that's the pinnacle in life where you're more susceptible to the hearing, when you're kind of more stuck in your ways, junior, senior year of school. You think you know, and it's not your fault. You may be in situations where, like you what was your name? Ashley was saying, you may be in situations where you are maybe the breadwinner, maybe the parent at 16, 17 years old, where you have to lead your little brothers and sisters, or even take care of I know a bunch of my friends had to take care of their grandparents when they were at a young age because their parents weren't doing what they need to. So you feel as though you're grown, right? And like he was saying, that's what you think, especially us when we're grown, no one can tell us what to do. So if you're leading a grown life at 16, 17 years old, that's practically what's going to happen. So middle school is the bread and butter. I think it's a great age because they still have that component in them that wants to make you proud.
What is your footprint for service? Do you service all of New Jersey, or, because I know you're South Jersey?
Yeah, so we do the tri-state area.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
great.
that's our tri-state area.
Okay, oh, great.
We travel.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're very far north, so.
Yes, you are.
Tri-state is us.
Do you provide for youth, like you mentioned a boot camp, I think it's more like a program, right?
Mhm.
So like several weeks, but what about like coming to a youth-based event that might just be for a day? Do you guys do stuff like that as well?
We do anything that wherever the kids are at, we're at. So whether that's like volunteering to give back, or that's organizations, schools hiring us for a day event, a week event, 3 days, doing keynotes. We do everything we can to put an imprint for the kids. We making yourself visible is the best teacher.
Which I want to mention, if the schools can hear me, because that they're on here now, they'll report back maybe to their school or their health and wellness teams, and they can promote something like that, like this, like maybe even comes to talk to their staff first, what you guys did for us, present to their staff, get the buy-in, and then do a one-day event for their schools, and you don't know where that could lead to.
One of the principles that we go off of is making distinctions and conversations with the guidance counselors of schools, just because they have a touch on what's going on in the school when it comes to like the negatives, I guess you would say. So then we highlight what we go from there and say, okay, well, these are the things you're struggling with. This is where we think we can put a hand on and a grip on and help.
Yeah, so we do workshops, curriculum, and keynotes, both for educators and students. So we touch on both sides, because I know teacher burnout a real thing.
Yeah.
Yes, so
That's
thank you,
real.
because
That's
real.
I have a message from somebody who didn't want to say that,
Okay.
so I'm respecting that.
Yeah.
But their question was, what would it look like, a presentation towards staff, where you have staff that their time is their time and that's it, once 3 o'clock hits. So, and I want to kind of say how they said it. Some people have the mentality where they won't give up any of their time because it's not in their contract.
And I would say to them, I worked in a school, so I would say to them is, what is, like he was saying before, what is your why?
What's your why?
If your why is a paycheck, I can never reach you,
Mhm.
right? But understanding that for some of these kids, you are a role model. You are male, you are dad, and you are mom, right? A lot of a lot of teachers see kids more than their parents do. Just look at the hours and add it up.
Exactly.
You're with them more. So you can't, in my experience with kids, you can't have the expectation that I'm a clock in, out type of person, because, and if somebody has that mentality, that just lets me know you're not connecting with the kids, right? Like, you're not spending any time with the kids, because there's no way you could be a teacher or anyone in the social work or in that field of services and meet a kid and they tell you what's going on at home, or telling you that they got this going on. You say, I don't care, I'm still getting out of here. So I would just say to them that advice to them, they need to do something separate, away from just one day. That's what I would say to them. Just give themselves one day. Go to the principal, say, you know what? Let this teacher be in the classroom for one day and not do anything educational. Just do fun, and see how those kids reward him, and see the stories that pour out. And let's see if that educator still feels the same way, because I guarantee they won't.
It's always the why. When you fall out of love, you fall into routine.
Mhm.
That's just what it is.
I have a question. You said you do workshops for teachers and also students.
Mhm.
Do you do workshops for parents?
So one of the next things we're actually stepping into is we want to, so for back to school nights and any of those things, we're setting up a curriculum now where we can come in. We understand that parents' time is the most precious, because they're dabbling a million things.
Exactly.
So if we can integrate with the schools and maybe get like 20 minutes with them, that's our 20 to 30 minutes to try and speak to them on red flags to look out for, how to integrate in important conversations, how to respectively bring up hard topics, not degrade their child in any way when it comes to the learning aspect, because some parents see it as it's a check-in system. You either getting A's or F's, and that's not. I always say this because I mentor as well. So one of my things that I say is a 73 or a 69 on a test doesn't mean you failed. The rubric said you failed. But if I asked you a question, if you know 69% of that content, that's pretty good. If I come in here and drop a binder and you got a week to learn this binder, and you come in and you knew 70% of the stuff, that's great.
I'm gonna hire you.
So I would always say to these kids is framework, right? It's all framework. When you frame things to kids as though A is exceptional and F is mean you're a loser, then that's all they understand. But if you frame it as like, no, you knew 60%, you didn't cheat, you didn't copy anyone, you knew 60% of the information. We just need to now, maybe we have to move your studying habits. Maybe you focused too much on what you knew and got confident in what you knew, and were scared to embrace the other factors of what you didn't know. So we need to add maybe another 10 hours to studying time to that, versus, what you're doing is pathetic. So it's just frameworks.
And I want to add this too, because that's a great question as far as the parents. One thing we are aware of is that you can % doing your thing as a parent, and your kid can literally go tone deaf. That's a fact. So, so this is like I said, this is where we come into play, right? Because we might be the one to get through to your kid. I can say the same thing you say to your kid, and it works, right? They like, Mr. Anthony said, and then you in the car like,
I said that years ago.
I said it to you like you wasn't hearing what I said. So I think also those things, because one thing we're not trying to do, we're not trying to go in there and teach you how to be a better parent, right? Like, y'all got that, right? But what we can do is we can teach you how to learn your kid better. So if I can get to certain crevices that you can't get to with your kid, I'm the bridge, right? I might be a little pro kid a little bit. But I'm gonna come back to the parent and be like, hey, did you know this? Or it might be certain secrets that your kid might tell me where it's like, oh, that's alarming. Let me make sure so it's those things. Your kid can become tone deaf. Your student can become tone deaf. Your client, whoever they can become tone deaf to what you got going on. And that doesn't mean that you're doing a bad job. Maybe you need somebody else to advocate.
And on top of that too, it's I find this with parents. Any parents in the room? So y'all can speak to this. That's your baby, right? Like your kid is your baby. Sometimes you hold your baby as your baby. So it's hard to have those hard conversations. You don't want to hear the responses come back from your child, right? Some of the things I would tell parents is though, you have to, whether you have a partner, a relationship, your grandparents, your parents, you have to speak to them and bridge those closures within yourself to then have the conversations with your kids. Because if they're not having the conversations with you, they're definitely having it with somebody else. And you don't want that guidance to be from someone else. You want it to come from you. So yes, let's use the topic of sex. Sex may be a hard conversation, but if it ain't coming from you, it's coming from the boyfriend or the girlfriend. And you don't want it to be, you don't want that because now there's 17 pregnant on your doorstep. Mom, I didn't know what happened. Well, did you have that conversation with them? You have to have these tough conversations because I'm telling you, whether it's drugs, alcohol, of anything, bullying. They're having these conversations, and you got to be the one. The best thing about being a parent, I'm not one, but this is what I look forward to is that imprint, right? I want to imprint my values onto you. I want you to see the world from my perspective. You see the world and then grow and see if I was right. And then take your own balances and come together. And then we can have a conversation of differences and say, well, mom, or dad, I don't believe this. And whether you have your own perception, but it's like, at least you know where I'm coming from. My moral value, when you allow other places to put those moral imprints on your child, it's where the problem comes from. And if you don't talk about it, and a lot of parents assume, oh, they'll do the right thing. Why would they do the right thing? Do they even know what the right thing is? So gotta have those conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
We just have two comments.
Okay, yeah.
Share.
Yeah.
So, first comment is by Beverly. We are located in Union City and we have a population over 3,000 high school kids who are having difficulties with accountability. We'd love to hear more about the program, the cost and how we'll run going forward, but I'm not the primary decision maker. We'll love some more information, love the idea of male leaders. So we'll send all that information as well. And then the last comment is by Liana. Many of us are dad and mom to our own students. You can be a teacher with a true why, care, and also have personal obligations.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, that's why you need somebody else to advocate. We could be an extension of your parents. We could be an extension of even you. The things that you are teaching, maybe you can't get everything out the way you're supposed to. So this is where we'll come and we'll have these real conversations with that person. Probably saying the same thing, different messenger, right? And that's what we specialize in. We tell people all the time, we are like extraction specialists. We're going to extract things out of that kid or out of the teacher, out of whoever, and we're going to make sure that we highlight it and bring it to life, right? So that's what we do.
Well, since I can't put you guys in my back pocket, I'm just gonna start saying to my kids, well, Anthony, and see if that works.
Yeah, no problem.
So I know we're like kind of hybrid right now, but do you guys do like solely virtual events over Zoom?
We could do that. We could do that for sure.
All right, because I would love to have like my planning committee members like host a town hall with just like students and parents, so you guys can connect with them and
Okay.
answer the questions like so.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, CJ. That's all right.
All right.
And I would just say,
Oh.
I wanted to, because I was this kid, so I just want to put it out there. If you have a friend of your kids coming over, take a little bit of time to venture in why they're coming over, right? Because most likely, if they look at your house as the house, there's a reason why they love and respect that house. So try and pour into them, be that parent for them. And that's one of my go-tos.
That is fine.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Let's step in real quick. Okay, guys. Thank you, Anthony and Durrell. Great presentation. We're gonna take a brief intermission, everyone, for about 5 minutes, just to, to recuperate, to decompress from that great presentation. And we'll see you in 5 minutes, and then we'll be on to our school successes, okay? Give us 5 minutes.
It was wonderful.
Huh?
It was wonderful.
Was it?
It was wonderful. I could live there. Yeah, I like city life.
Me too.
I like safe city life.
It's warm in here. Oh,
Yeah.
our office is freezing.
Yeah, they are having problems with everything. It was wonderful. I mean, it was a rainy, but not like, it wasn't downpours, like we still did everything. It's just, that's the way it is in April in Paris, but all the more reason to.
Every day, right?
No, but cloudy.
Oh.
And if it rained, it rained. It didn't downpour. It only downpoured because we went through a cold front. Like it was humid when I got there. But then that night, I think it was I got there Tuesday. I think Wednesday night it kind of had a actually thunderstorm,
Oh, wow.
and then it was cool and cloudy.
Okay.
But it didn't rain every day.
Were you prepared with your clothes though?
Oh, I'll show you.
You know?
I was Parisian. I do it.
Yeah.
I have to be it. But my family's like, you're looking more Parisian every day. I'm like, yes, I am.
You should probably stand up now.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for that quick break. Our next segment today, for the second hour, we're going to review our school successes with the regions that we do the WSC and the WSC model with. We have the northern region, the central region, and the southern region, and our programming is throughout the state. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to our first presenter from the southern region. Oh, is it? I apologize, the central region.
All right, no, that's me.
Hey
I'm,
everyone, you can, oh, Leandra, did you start?
no, I didn't start yet. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I
was
just
in
wanted
the-
to say hello. My name is Amisha from Empower Somerset. We're the Central Region grantee. And yes, Leandra is gonna go first from Elizabeth High School, Frank J. Ciccarelli Academy.
All right, I know I'm on the clock here too, and I got a lot of slides, but I promise I will keep it under 5 minutes here. So our school is home to over 1,200 students. So it's split up in between two buildings. So I work at the main building, which is grades 10 through 12. And then we have an annex building that's strictly just freshmen. And that's home to about 300 students. Now, the initiatives we do, since I am in the main building, is mainly for that particular building, but we do try to include that annex building as much as we can. So if you go to the next slide, please.
Next slide.
So our school has a strong academic reputation. So, you know, from you looking at the rankings, there's tests, I think like every day. I mean, for the next 2 weeks, we have AP testing here. So it has a lot of academic pressure on the students. So it leads to not only burnout from the students, but the staff as well. And you notice that, especially during this time of year, like, you know, the kids are, I'm a physical educator too. So they'll walk around and have study material while walking in the gym, you know, as their warm up. So, you know, you could see the burnout in them. So my initiative was for the students not to, you know, only make a difference in the community, but to be able to enjoy their school days and take a break from all their schoolwork and testing and make time for fun activities. So with the help of my health and wellness team, we have made great contributions and we look forward to making more. So we're going to talk about just some of them too, even though, you know, I got a whole slideshow. So if you could go to the next slide, please. All right, we usually start with the panorama surveys. I'm not sure if you guys do them at your schools, but we give them a pre and a post survey. So the pre is usually in October to get their, you know, for them to actually know what it's like to be in the school. And then we do a post survey, which we just recently did in April. And it focuses on three main things. So school climate and culture. So that could be the school environment, including like norms and rules and student engagement, the facilities themselves, positive relationships, like the connections between their teachers, their sense of belonging, you know, valuing the school, and then school safety, which can include, you know, bullying, violence, and availability of support for students. So we have a skip, you know, or I know some people call it the SHIP meetings, and we talk about it because we're able to disaggregate, you know, this data by race, ethnicity, you know, grade level, gender, and all that stuff. So then when we get those results, you know, it'll ask questions like, hey, do you feel safer at your school? Or are you able to talk to teachers? So that's, you know, we'll take that data and then we'll decide, you know, on the initiatives and all that good stuff. So now on to some community work that we do. All right. So we partnered with Lifelong Elizabeth and we recognized Older Adult Month, which is actually right now in May. So they Elizabeth Police Department actually gave a presentation on walking safety tips. They gave us safety vests. And it was a great experience just for our students because they got to communicate with the senior citizens. So much so that even at the end, they even had like a dance party and ate, you know, hot dogs and French fries with them. So if you actually go to the next slide, you'll see some of the pictures with them. So we hope to, you know, you can see the smiles on not only the senior citizens, but most of our senior class. So it was kind of a good bonding experience for both. So we hope to kind of like partner with them in the future even more as well. All right, next slide. So we did an earthquake cleanup. We partnered with the City of Elizabeth and the New Jersey Clean Communities. They gave us, they were awesome. They helped give us rakes, brooms, the sticks, the trash picker sticks. and trash bags, and it was a great day. So we cleaned up around the premises of the school and the park that's actually located right in front of our school. If you go to the next slide, you'll see some pictures with that. All right, now I actually just wanted to talk about the relay real quick. So in our school, there was a teacher already that kind of worked with the American Cancer Society, and I just wanted to understand, how could I get involved? What can I do as a physical educator? So I contacted the local parks. We were able to get a permit, and now we have an annual 5K run/walk that we do, and that put a little snippet that we were on TV because we were the teacher that runs the National Honor Society that started the first partnership. Actually has a son who has a rare debilitating illness, and he actually wanted to do a story on it, and we told him about the relay and everything like that. So we actually got a little special shout out for our relay. And if you go to the next slide, we have like a little video, and he came to our school, and it was pretty awesome. All right, now just to go quickly, this one we could skip past. It was just we worked with the Union County. We did a little team bonding event. And it talked about mental illness, all right, and how we could tackle and do initiatives with that. And they went to King University, so it was a nice event there. Next slide. All right, just to talk about quickly some in-school events that we do. We'll do morning workouts that's open to students and staff before. As the year goes on, we do get a smaller number. Even myself, I'll skip back days just to get some extra sleep. But we do have, a great gym and a fitness room that's open to staff and students. And we were lucky enough to have Joetta come into our school. So she was the 4-time Olympian, and she shared, about perseverance with our students. And then after her talk, we were we talked about respect. Then we were able to hand out kindness cards, and we also do that for Valentine's Day, where it'll be on the lockers. So it was actually like a really fun day, and it's something that was new. We never really had a SEL day like that. We go to the next slide. All right, that's just some pictures of the event, and on the lockers you could see just some positive kindness message, and one was given to a teacher there on the bottom left there. All right, we actually have a yoga and mindfulness club that just started. That's led by our social worker, and we're looking in the future. I know you see it in the middle to do maybe puppy yoga or some goat yoga. So we're hoping that with the grant money that we can do that in the future. So that'd be really cool. All right, just some other things that we do. We held a show that was live streamed through Teams for Black History Month through the arts. So there was poetry, there was jazz renditions, dance routines. So it was really a good time, and we were happy. So this one we were actually able to live stream through the annex building, so they could experience it as well. With Women's History Month, we had some uplifting messages that were placed around the school, as you see here on this little video. Honoring their strength, resilience, and impact on shaping the world. So we also put some women throughout history. It'll pop up a little bit later in the video, but we won't probably get to that, just for time purposes. So if we can go to the next slide, please. All right, and then our school is very united, but it's also very competitive, and I'm sure everyone can attest to this, that the sophomores have their own cliques, the juniors have their own cliques, and the seniors have their own cliques. So we have different events to foster that competitiveness in a safe environment. So we have a junior versus senior basketball game. We have a student versus teacher volleyball game. We do a lip sync battle, which was made, if you guys have ever seen that TV show where they just pretend to sing the words, they'll do dances, and they'll crown a winner. And we do, things like a talent show as well. Now, some honorable mentions that I wanted to do is our art teachers stay after school for anybody that's interested in, drawing and painting and doing all that stuff. We have open gym, so I'm looking, in the future to run intramural events, maybe use the grant to get, pay for some referees, and, just like they do in colleges, just somewhere that gets them, if they're not part of a team, gets them off the streets, gets them to doing something fun. We actually had a vaping presentation that was split up by class. We had prevention links come in and talk about the dangers of vaping. And we also had an alumni speaker to talk about mental illness and the stigma behind it and how to deal with it and how to talk about it with friends and family. And just one more special shout out to Amisha and her Empower Somerset team who came in and brought in the Sparks teen mentoring program to our school. The students absolutely love, and that they provided Inner Explorer, which is something we're working on now. I don't really have much data on it. I'm trying to get it in one of my health classes 2 days a week. But it talks about, you know, mindfulness and how to deal with stress and how to ground yourself. So it looks like it's having a positive impact so far. So I'm hoping that's something that we can kind of do consistently. And that's a little bit of Frank J. Ciccarello Academy.
Or turn the TV down.
We just wanted to give another round of applause. That was a great round. And now we will present Cape May County.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Just hold on, we're just gonna have Christine.
Hi, Erin. I'm just gonna introduce you guys real quick. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm Christine Guzman. I am the coordinator for the Southern Region Atlantic Care with Dr. Ronnie Lerner. She's here with me today. So I just want to say thank you to our 6 schools in the South. I'm very happy to have 2 presenters today. We have Cape May County Special Services, Erin, and then we'll have Una Regional Middle School with Rory. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning. My name is Erin Oline. I am the school guidance counselor and student assistance coordinator at Cape May County Special Services School District. And I'm on my phone in my car because we are doing our student wellness day today. So I apologize. I don't have like all my notes and everything in front of me, but I will do the best that I can to kind of highlight some of the things that we've been doing with our staff and students. So you can go to the next slide. So this is our health and wellness team members. We have a very diverse group and they are amazing. Next slide. So our district is compiled into 2 schools. Ocean Academy is pre-K to 8th grade. Every student in our district has an individualized education program. So that just kind of gives you an idea. We have autism, multiple disabilities, and emotional regulation impairment. We have 23 classrooms, 159 students, 46 teachers and teacher aides, and then 97 one-to-one aides, personal nurses, and ASL interpreters in our Ocean Academy. And then in our high school, we have life skills programs, autism, multiple disabilities, ERI, and community-based instruction. We have 13 classrooms, 100 students. There are 26 teachers and teacher aides, and then 52 one-to-one personal aides and ASL interpreters. And we also have art, music, a media specialist, phys ed, vocational teachers, and then a very large related services staff, in addition to our behavior support staff and case managers. So our focus when we were doing our getting in touch with our school and what we needed to do and doing the ship and all of those things. This is our 2nd year in the program, and school culture and the wellness of staff, because you know, working with students with special needs is extremely rewarding, but it's also extremely exhausting at the same time. So just making sure that our staff, we have a large staff because of all of our classrooms have a teacher aide, and then many of our students have one-to-one aides in addition to personal nurses and things like that. So we want to make sure that our staff is recognized, know that they are appreciated, and that we, the kids rely on them, we rely on them to make our school go, and work like a well-oiled machine every day. So we were focusing on our staff wellness, and then we also today and yesterday are focusing on some student wellness as well. So for our staff wellness day, we had it in January. This was just a flyer that was put in everybody's mailboxes and posted around the school. So our wellness day, we had healthy, like grab and go snacks. Everybody is on a different schedule. So we just thought we would have things that they could easily come into our staff cafeteria, grab something healthy, some water. We had oatmeal and a variety of like berries and fruits. So they could just kind of come in, grab it and go. We had yogurt and granola and things like that as well. And every staff member were given 3 raffle tickets to fill out, and then we have some pictures to show some of the things that we raffled off. So all of our raffle prizes were either purchased with some grant money, or people had donated items as well. So because this was January, we kind of focused on things like in winter time. So we had like a tea and with some, cozy socks in a mug. In the middle picture there, we had like some room spray and kind of those kind of things. We had a basket, more masculine smelling body wash and all of that kind of stuff. And with each of those little things, we had just like a little, paper that kind of explained like the purpose, the wellness and purpose behind the basket. So the Amazon Fire was a donation. The thing in the middle is a massager. It was a donation as well. And then in that next basket, I believe it was I don't remember what. Oh, it was all bath stuff, like bath fizzies and bubbles and all of that kind of stuff, and with a big cozy towel and things like that. And here are some of our winners. They were very, it's such a positive day to see everyone. Like, our school is huge, and we don't always get to see each other all the time. So just to be able to have a common place where people are like, oh, hi, I haven't seen you in a while, and a smile and a quick chat. And it's just a really great day. We've got so much positive feedback. We did this same thing last year at the beginning or at the end of the school year, the beginning of summer, because we get like a 2-week break, and then most of our staff comes back for extended school year, which goes into the beginning of July to the beginning of August. So we get like 2 weeks to kind of rejuvenate, and then we're right back at it again. So we did one in this at the end of the year, and we got a lot of positive feedback. So that's why we decided to do one again in January. So last May, we had a mental health calendar contest where the staff that wanted to participate all received a blank May calendar. And every day they just wrote down something that helped them get through their day. So what we did is we took all of the things that people had written on those calendars, because we collected them and then randomly drew 4 people to win prizes. But then our health and wellness team took all of those calendars and created a wall of wellness, which was pictures of things that people had said that they had done, so that when people came in, they were like, oh, like, oh, I never thought to do that. Or, oh, wow, somebody also likes to, do shopping for their mental health and to, feel a little better. So that there was a whole wall that was just for, putting those things up there, and people, like, there were some really original ones that you knew, and people would say, oh yeah, that was mine. So it was just kind of cool to see that we didn't just have the contest and, you know, forget about it. We collected those things and did something with them. So today we're having our second part of our health and wellness day. We are currently at the Cape May County Zoo. We have half of our classes came yesterday, half of our classes came today. We have face painting. We have I'm watching the kids now. They're playing cornhole. We have like big foam airplanes that do loop-de-loops, so they're playing with those. We have water and healthy snacks. Every student and staff member got a turquoise t-shirt that says Student Wellness Day 2024 with Cape May County High School on it. We have bubbles and music playing, and so it's just a day of doing, you know, the kids have lots of choices of what they'd like to do. The zoo here is free, so the classrooms have been kind of coming and going in and out of the zoo. We just had a baby zebra born, so people are very excited about going and seeing that. So it's just a really great day. Our staff is out here. The rain has been holding off, so it's just been yesterday and today already a lot of good feedback from both staff and students. All right, and that's it for us.
Round of applause again.
Okay. All right.
All right, so our next speaker from the South is Rory from Buna Regional Middle School, and I was just there, I think, last week, and she'll probably talk about that. Thank you, Rory.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you, everybody. So this is our year 2 working with Christine and bringing that social emotional awareness to our building and just creating that culture within our school. This is my 4th year in the district, but my 1st year as assistant principal. So I've been working very closely with Christine and with our new principal as well, Karen. And so without them, I could not be here today. So thank you. I'm ready for my next slide. So talking a little bit about Buna, we are small, but we are strong. Some of the things that we do to encourage and enhance our wellness and our collaboration amongst the school, we have teacher dress down days, which they always appreciate. This week for teacher appreciation, and we gave them something simple like jeans day every single day, and they have a smile on their face every time they walk in the door. We do coffee and donuts from the administration. Sometimes we will buy them coffee and donuts. Teachers feel supported when they know that us as administration, we are advocating for them. Some of the things that we do, I had a code of conduct committee. We have a grading committee. We have a professional development committee, and we listen to them and we bring those ideas to central office and to supervisors, and we advocate for them. They appreciate that. We have monthly staff recognition. We highlight staff with perfect attendance because that was one of our focuses for this year. And we've been doing some food and gift exchanges as well. That was an idea from my principal. Some things that we want to, I hate the word weakness, but things that we want to improve upon. Some of the things that we got feedback on was not having a lot of teacher feedback and insight onto some of the changes that we make, which is why we make all these committees now. Again, student accountability, that's why we have our grading committee. Teachers, I don't know what's happening in other schools, but teachers have been talking about student retention, retaining students. You could be on either side of the plate on that one. Discipline, which is why I had the code of conduct committee. And then we don't have in-school suspension. We have what's called ALL, which is our alternate learning lab, very similar to in-school suspension. Teachers complained about the inequity of the responsibility for different duties that we have. So the principal and I have been rotating duties every marking period. There's pros and cons to that we are learning. Teacher camaraderie. So I'm going to highlight that in a couple slides. I built a Zen Den. The Zen Den is where we are having all of our treats for Teacher Appreciation Week. So it's definitely been the heart of our building this week, and teacher burnout. I don't know about you, but December, I always joked around that March was always my burnout date because it was the month that we had no days off and it was the longest month of the school year. But at Bunet, it seems to be December. So that's where we are. Okay, so last year when I first was blessed with meeting Christine, I applied for the grant and got it. So we completed our school health index, and that's where we found that we focused on goal 9, which was really focusing on the climate and culture of our building, specifically our teachers. One of the things that I truly believe is that if our teachers are not engaged and excited to be here, how are they going to make the learning engaging and fun for the students? If the teachers are miserable, then the students are going to be miserable. So we wanted to kind of start at the beginning and kind of get that spark back into the teachers' eyes. So we sent out surveys. They had a lack of camaraderie and engagement and respect from each other. So we wanted to give them that space, which was our Zen Den. We found a space, we totally overhauled it. And then we were looking now into year 2, what can we do? And we wanted to focus on teacher attendance this year, and then just creating a collaboration, not only amongst teachers, but with teachers and students. How can teachers and students meet each other and see each other and make those very important connections? Okay, so this is a couple snapshots of our Zen Den. And so we have a coffee and snack bar. We have a Google Smart TV. We also, that's not shown here, but we have a switch. We have a dry erase board where they write notes to each other. We have an egg chair. We have chess and puzzles and games and coloring, all kinds of coloring books and magazines and books. And we even have like a little book swap going. So as teachers read a book and they love it and they want to share it, I have a shelf and they have like a little book swap. So this year, again, I wanted to kind of build upon that culture and climate within our school and strengthen that culture and climate between teachers and students. So we did have an SEL professional development day where our teachers, all the teachers in our district, we are a very small district, but all the teachers in our district met at the high school, and we had massages, we had Tai Chi, we had like the sensory oils. We had a class on how the different oils can bring about moods and soothe you. We also had some academic focuses as well, raising our math scores, meeting those students who make teaching a little bit more difficult, those students who are a little bit more difficult to engage. We had PD on that. So much. I know I'm missing so much, but that's what happened. And then just recently, which is why Christine was here on May 1st, which was the Mental Health Awareness Kickoff Day for the month of May. Our YAB students, we have 4 amazing students. They'll be shown in a couple slides. We had a kickoff day. So in each of our 3 lunches, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade lunch, they came in and they had trivia and we had handouts and pamphlets, and it was all focused on the upcoming NJSLA. So we start NJSLA next week, and just managing stress, some triggers, how to deal with those triggers. And even though we are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we have definitely been struggling with vaping. So also kind of those negative things that students sometimes lean towards, and how we can address and deal with that as well. Okay, so I just highlighted some of our goals and then I have some pictures behind it. But so one of the things that we wanted to do is perfect attendance. And then I can show you on the next slide that we really have improved our attendance. If you want to go. So you can see here, September through March, I meant to add April and I apologize. But actually January, we had one more person. So last, oh no, we doubled, sorry. January, we had 6 people out last year and we had 13 this year. But I will say in my defense, we also have had a lot of like flus and colds, and we also had a couple of COVIDs in our building. I don't know about your districts. Okay, next goal. More teacher-focused professional development, which we had that amazing day in February. Huge success. Everyone loved it. They want to bring it back. So we're definitely going to do that every year. And these are some of the things. We made vision boards. I forgot about that. We had basketball and volleyball. That small one where they have all the desks, that's where we did the classes on the different oils. The big one in the library, that's where a lot of teachers attended on how to meet those students that do not engage and you know, can make teaching a little bit more difficult. And then we also had those massages. That was amazing. Next goal, create those opportunities where staff and students can connect. So every marking period, we have what's called a chief challenge. We are the Buna Chiefs, and we have chief challenges. And oh, this one's about the bulletin board. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. The bulletin board I change out every month, and we talk about what we are thankful for. We make kind conversations and we send love to each other on the bulletin board. I did there's no place like BRMS. And we talked about how we're all individual, but we're all a family. So that's the next picture. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. And there's a couple of my bulletin boards. I did the turkeys and the snowflakes and the pot of gold. I didn't realize how creative I was until I made that pot of gold. I stole it from Pinterest. Let me know if you want the idea. Next goal. Okay, these are my quarterly chief challenges. They are so much fun. So we break them out into grade levels, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And then each marking period, they kind of switch. So we do bingo. You can't imagine how much fun 8th graders who are too cool for school, how they get into bingo. It was so much fun. And the teachers and the staff, we have all the staff members, paras, everybody, they participate. And they play bingo. Another activity we did was current, like Jeopardy, like current topics with Jeopardy, where they kind of got up onto the stage and competed in different teams. And then the third section of the day was a minute to win it. So much fun having teachers and students, you know, kind of picking up things, and you know, we were like doing apple dunking and all that. It was so much fun. So we do that every marking period. And these are some of the pictures. There's so many pictures. I just kind of had to pick some of them, but we did cup stacking. We did a volleyball challenge, huge Connect 4. Oh my gosh, so much fun. And then building positive morale. So we are going to be doing a leadership camp this summer. And we are going to do it the last Tuesday of August. We are inviting every single 7th grade student and teacher to the building. I started planning some of the activities, and it's all about creating those current 7th graders. They're going to be 8th graders next year, and kind of creating the tone where they are our model students. They are the leaders in the building, and they are really going to show the 6th and 7th grade you know, that vision of where we want our climate and culture of the building to be. So it's not going to be myself and Ms. Cavalieri and the teachers saying, well, you should be doing this and you should be treating each other kindly and you should be making new friends and let someone new sit at your table. It's going to be those students modeling those behaviors for the 6th and 7th grade students. So we have really exciting activities, and thanks to Ms. Guzman, we have Be a Leader t-shirts. They came in yesterday. Christine, I can't wait to show them to you. And we're just gonna have a really good time, and I'm really, really excited for it. So I can't wait to kind of see, once we have that experience, how that is going to change the climate and culture for next year. This is the team. My team is amazing. We have a special ed teacher, general ed teacher. We have a parent. We have our youth center ladies, myself and Miss Cavalieri in the red pants. And then we also, of course, have our YAB students. So could not have done it without them.
Round of applause, round of applause.
All right, so up next we have Miss Christine Larson talking from Boundbrook High School about their different health initiatives that they did this year.
Hi, everybody. So this is technically year 3 of the Health and Wellness Grant. However, I know with the whole funding formula shift and everything, it's kind of year 1 starting over again. So I kind of want to go over a little bit of what we've already done, you know, the last couple of years, what we did this year, and then kind of ideas that we have for the future. A little bit background on our school. The total minority enrollment in our school is 87%, and 67% of our students are economically disadvantaged. Going through the school health index scorecard, we realized we do a lot for our students and supporting them. However, we were lacking a little bit with more like staff wellness, staff health, and community involvement. So just to highlight some of the things that we've done already in the past, we've actually this past Sunday, we just completed our 3rd 5K as a staff. We had 24 staff members out of 60 something that we have in our building participate in it was Duck Donut sponsored the race, but it was for cancer awareness was the actual run. So that was pretty cool. The rain even held off for us, which was a little exciting because it was a little iffy when we first got to the race, but everything worked out great. In the past, we've also done for staff a squat challenge, a step challenge. This past school year, or this current school year, we did a wellness bingo, where any staff members that wanted to participate, they had different challenges throughout the week. If they were able to do bingo, they were entered into a raffle where they won a gift card. And that was for the whole 4 weeks of February, I believe, right? February or March. All the months are blending, I apologize. Our SEL day, we did back on March 1st. We brought in a guest speaker called Dan Bookham Rivera. He is another excellent guest speaker for anybody who's looking for different speakers to come talk. But he is a police officer who gives back to his community. He kind of shares his story. He was a high school dropout. He got involved in drugs and different issues. When he was 21, he kind of had a come to Jesus moment and went and got his GED and then became a police officer. And now he works closely with different communities he does with individuals, student meetings, and he also came and spoke to our whole freshman class. So on SEL day, he came, spoke with our freshmen, basically gave them the message of like, you're responsible for your own learning and your own, despite your circumstances, it's important to persevere and overcome. And it was a really great message. Also during the SEL day, we brought in staff massages. That was also the 3rd time that we've been able to bring in massages, and we're hoping to bring them in one more time this year. There's a local shop that actually opened in our community named Pride Protein. So we were able to partner with them, and all of our staff ordered shakes, and they came and delivered protein shakes for our staff. And actually today, we also have them coming back to deliver for our staff for Teacher Appreciation Week. So that's been a great community connection that we've been able to build with them. All across the bathroom mirrors and all of the bathrooms, both staff and student bathrooms, we put up motivational stickers for them. And you can kind of see a couple of examples of them in the picture. We incorporated the mindfulness sessions during our study hall with the Inner Explorer. We also had the Spark program come. Amisha did wonders with a handful of our students to motivate them. We had music playing in the morning on the SEL day, and we try to do that on Fridays as well. Some other past initiatives that we've done, we had yoga courses for our, you can go ahead and switch the slide, that's fine. We had yoga classes come in, that was 2 years ago. Last June, we hosted our first staff field day, and it was such a huge success that we're actually going to do it again this June, the last week of school. In the staff field day, we had everybody meet at the field, and we had cornhole, water balloon tosses, tug of war, Jenga, a soccer shootout, the huge Connect Four board, hula hoop passing, 3-legged race. We provided lunch for them, again, from another local business that gave us sandwiches. We had a Kona ice truck come for the staff. And it was just really a lot of fun, and we had a great time. So our staff all agreed that they would love to do that again this year. So I'm hoping this year we'll actually be able to come up with other activities during it as well. Another thing that we use some of the grant money for is we are an AVID school. And for those of you who don't know AVID, it's a nationwide program that stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And this just helps teach our students like time management, study skills, how to note taking, like focused note taking. And so we have each grade level has a cohort that attends an elective class. So the senior class we brought to Princeton University, and they conduct a scavenger hunt there. And it's really cool because all the kids were put into teams, and there's an app. So there's certain buildings that they have to go find, or certain statues that they have to go find. It was a really great way for the students to actually visit the campus of Princeton University. And it really built a sense of community within them because they were competing against each other. It's almost kind of like an Amazing Race type thing. They had to like reenact, find a statue to reenact and take a picture, and all kinds of things. So we were able to pay, using the grant money, we were able to pay for our students to actually participate in the scavenger hunt. And again, that's been 2 years now that we have done that. I'm trying to think what else. Some future things that we would love to see happen. Shifting not just on our staff, and one of the other things that I forgot to mention that we do is for Black History Month, we do a door decorating contest, and we have the students vote on their favorite door, or school-wide, they vote on their favorite door, and then the winning door gets a lunch provided by the administration that we paid for through the grant money. So one of the future goals that we would like to start shifting is not just focusing on staff wellness, but kind of doing more whole school or school-wide challenges and school-wide events. We currently started this for the remainder of the school year. The last 8 weeks of school is to have us walk or run to the Olympics. So we tracked it. The Olympics are in Paris in August. So our goal as a school is to track our miles from here to the Olympics in Paris, which we figured out from Bound Brook is about 3,600, close to 3,700 miles. This is after the first 2 weeks, we already logged 1,400 miles as a school, which we thought was pretty cool. So everybody fills in a Google form with how many miles that they have done for the week. And then we've even started a challenge to even motivate more people to get involved. So when they fill out the Google form, they have to see if they're staff, or which grade level, and then whichever group logs the most miles as a whole will give some sort of either breakfast or lunch to kind of reward them as well. So that's kind of an exciting thing. Other future goals that we would like to do is doing maybe a school-wide field day instead of just a staff field day. Incorporating more of staff trivia. We would love to get a cooking class for our staff. We actually started a staff cookbook. We created a Google slideshow where everybody can take a slide and share their favorite recipes. And then we're going to take all the recipes and combine them into an actual cookbook to share with the rest of the staff. And we were looking at maybe doing like a staff versus student volleyball or basketball game, possibly kickball games, and listening to some of the other schools. All of you are doing such great things that we actually started taking notes to see like other ideas that we can implement as well. So thank you for that. And we are just really grateful for this grant opportunity with Empower Somerset, because we've been able to do so much for our staff and our students. So we just really, truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi.
Oh, wait, not yet, not yet. I think I'm on, right?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara Contreras. I am with the Center for Prevention and Counseling up in the tippy top of North New Jersey. Along with us today is Rachel Kays, our educator, and our WISC guru, Ashley Kane, our supervisor as well. In the Northern region, we are working with 5 schools, 3 of which are in Jersey City. That's Joseph Brensinger, PS 17. We have President Barack Obama Community School, and we have that's PS 34, and Dr. Michael Conti, PS 5. Learning curve for me was knowing that they have the school name and the PS number. So then we are also working with Union City High School and West Caldwell Tech. Today, we have asked Joseph Brensinger, PS 17, and Union City High School to present. So we're going to start off with our health and wellness leader, Zulai Shin, and then we'll turn things over to health and wellness leader, Beverly Grady from Union City High School.
Hi, Tamara. Good morning, everyone. I am Zulai Shin. I work at PS 17, like Tamara said. Miss Campbell is also here. She's my assistant principal, and she's here for support. Anyway, I've been working at PS 17 for 18 years. And through the years, I've noticed a lot of change, a lot of growth with the staff and the students. I have been able to see the middle school, now that I'm working with the middle school students, and I can see, the difference in the attitude and behavior of the children, because I was used to working with the smaller kids. So I'm really glad to be part of this team. If we can go to the next slide, please. So our mission is to ensure that all children have equal educational opportunities, whereby they can learn, grow, enhance their self-worth, and succeed academically. At Joseph H. Brensinger, we will build leaders, one citizen at a time. Next slide. This is our team. We have several teachers on the team. We have our school counselors. We have a science teacher, the world language teacher, which is myself, our assistant principal, Ms. Campbell. And we all work very hard to do our best. We're a New Jersey School of Character. Through our partnership with the Rutgers University Social Emotional Learning Lab, we implemented SEL throughout all content areas. Due to our success, we were recommended and received the New Jersey School of Character Award. In addition, we were invited to host an international SEL summit. A lot of our lessons have SEL embedded in them. So it's a very important thing here at our school. Our staff and students' mental health is our main goal. JHB's main goal is to address and meet the needs of our students' well-being. We want to look beyond academics and see how we can positively influence student life outside of the school setting. So it's very important for us to make sure that the kids feel happy and comfortable when they're at school. We know that everyone's situation at home is different, so we try to be empathetic and be available for the kids all the time. JHB understands the importance of not only the health and wellness of our students, but for the staff as well. We strive to create a work environment that is successful, positive, and respectful. So we're a school that we celebrate a lot of different things, and we like to extend it to the students and the faculty. For example, the 100th day of school, we had a theme, which was the World Disney theme, Mickey Mouse and like all the Disney characters. Our Halloween theme was the Wizard of Oz theme. So we try and create themes that way so that everybody can, participate. And if they have a difficult time thinking of something creative, they don't really need to work extra hard. This is a picture of our pumpkin patch. So that's something else that we do during the holidays. We also had an SEL and Pi Day celebration. The Pi Day celebration was a lot of fun because the kids got to throw pies at their teachers and the assistant principal. So they had a lot of fun doing that. We had a lot of different activities. For SEL Day, it was just a day to unplug. There was no technology allowed. Everything that we did was hands-on. And that was something that the kids really enjoyed, and so did the staff. Our Parent Appreciation Day was last month. We had Tamrock come and participate. The turnout was pretty good. With the Sparks program, we have noticed that the students are very involved. They have almost perfect attendance for every meeting that we've had. We've also been meeting on Friday mornings as an extra time because they enjoy it so much that they asked if we could meet more. So we're meeting also on Friday mornings. And we started a film club, and we're creating a short film about empathy and also about self-confidence, which is something that's very important to work on. I'm sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. And our next steps would be, we would like to start a staff and student fitness club. We would like to also arrange a school climate survey, both for the staff and the students. We would like to continue including activities for Fun Friday, where the kids get to move their bodies more, and also create some type of mentorship program. So those are our goals for next year. Okay, thank you.
Round of applause. Awesome job, Eli. All right, thank you. We're gonna turn things over to Beverly with Union City High School.
Hi, everybody. I'm stealing a lot of your ideas. I'm so happy to have heard a lot of them. So going forward next year, I'm pilfering. So thank you for that. I'm a part of our school-based organization here, and within our organization, we started the hiking club last year. So this is year 2 of hiking club, which has become, well, let me just give some background on Union City High School. We are also an Abbott district. We have, I think it's the 3rd most densely populated city in the United States. We are surrounded by asphalt. Even our football field is turf. Lucky to have one, but there's not a lot of nature around us. So in forming the hiking club, it was a way to try to get our kids out and exposed to nature and the natural world, and to become more mindful and to grow that way. This is our 2nd year. We have over 250 members of the club. We meet every week. We have around 50 kids attending every week, and we have we have monthly hikes where we take them to Ramapo Reservation, lots of different hiking places that I know about as an avid hiker myself. So we do 1 hike a month, and then this year we've been expanding outward to incorporating more SEL factors into not just physical fitness and mental fitness on the trail, but within the confines of Union City High School. You can go to the next. These are some of our officers. We have a fair every year where we try to recruit, and we are the biggest club now in the school. It's grown in popularity. We have to limit our attendees to 30, so we have kind of like a rotating schedule. They're amazing people, individuals who I'm sad to say some of them are leaving this year as seniors. So we are having a going away party today with a buffet, a photo booth, music, prizes, all thanks to our grant. And our transportation is also paid for by our grant, which we would never have been able to do this without the grant. So I'm so thankful. You can go to the next. Our accomplishments. So this is our 2nd year with our grant, and we are growing the club exponentially, and also inputting more and more SEL into our club. You can go to the next. I said we have monthly hiking trips. Our kids benefit by being immersed in nature, which and then them being here every day. They have been able to form friendships and bonds and leadership abilities based on getting out in nature and understanding that we all have to help each other on the trail, whether it's physical or mental blocks. You can go to the next. Some of our benefits. That's one of our hikes. We went up to Harriman State Park. It was we do pretty intense hikes, some rock scrambles. There are aspects of it that these kids have never been exposed to before. Our very first hike, we ran into a black bear, and we had to encounter and overcome our fears, but it was amazing. And the benefits that they get from just being out in nature is just tremendous. They get to decrease their stress levels. I do too. They develop new bonds with their peers. They disconnect from their phones and social media, which I never thought would happen, but they just go right in the backpack. Other than taking pictures, they're not on their phones, which is like incredible for teenagers. And we have now abilities to like become more centered and present in the moment and being out in nature. You can go to the next. We have begun to collaborate with other clubs this year. So we're expanding our like tentacles into other organizations and making more bonds and friendships through these collaborations. One of those is called the HOSA Club. It's a healthcare club where you can see these 2 students who are seniors, and also they're taking classes to become EMTs. They came in for weekly sessions and taught our kids how to do the Heimlich maneuver, how to do CPR, how to use an AID device. And one of the classes was also to stop the bleed in case anything, God forbid, ever happened on the trail or even off the trail. So our kids are immersed in getting all of this knowledge from other clubs. So it's student led. Our club is student-led and all the other clubs are student-led, which is wonderful. We also collaborated with the Bring Change to Mind Club. It's a mindfulness club, and we did a walk around our reservoir. We are next Sunday, we're doing the AIDS walk with our Pride Club. It's a 7.5-mile walk in Central Park, and we're gonna be raising money for AIDS. And our student council, we are highly involved in student council and getting out the word about our hiking club and the word about collaboration, and we're bringing in more and more people. Again, we were able to go on a snow tubing trip this year, thanks to our grant. Kids loved it. It was amazing. You can go to the next. We were so happy to attend this year. We missed it last year, our 2024 youth leadership camp. Our kids were able to bond and get to know students from other schools and learn leadership activities. And some of them are even interested in becoming or going to the actual sleepaway camp this year. So I'm very excited about that. And looking ahead, there's so much more that we want to do. Like I said, incorporate a lot more SEL. We're going to be launching Inner Explorer that some of you have used previously at our next hiking club meeting, which is next week, and then pushing it out through our SEL initiative here at Union City High School to the entire school after we launch it next week. And that's about it. But thank you so much. We really appreciate everything you've done for us.
Oh, that was fantastic, everyone. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank our partners, our regional partners, schools, for all the work that you do for the students in the community. All your efforts go a long way. And I wanted to ensure that these efforts are not being recognized, and they are being recognized, and you're making positive impacts for the youth to ensure that they're lifelong learners. So I commend you guys. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank our partners from Empower Somerset, Kristen, Jennifer, Misha, and Betsy, our partners from Atlantic Care, Ronnie and Christine, our partners from Center for Prevention, Ashley, Tamara, Rachel, and Tina, for another successful project year and for spending the time and energy and making sure our year-end summits are joyous, informative, and inspiring. I wanted to thank our guests, our special keynote speakers from our Friendly Advice, Anthony and Durrell, for their services. 100% recommend them. We will have their information in the links and provided for your schools to share. And we look forward for 2025, and we'll see you next year. Thank you. Everyone have a great day.